Beggar and his Dog. A beggar and his dog sat at the gate of a noble courtier, and were preparing to make a meal on a bowl of fragments that had been brought out by the kitchen maid. A poor dependent of his lordship's, who had been sharing the singular favor of a dinner at the steward's table, was struck with the appearance, and stopped a little to observe them. The beggar, hungry and voracious as any courtier in Christendom, seized with greediness the choicest morsels, and swallowed them himself. The residue was divided into portions for his children. A scrap was thrust into one pocket for honest Jack, a crust into another for bashful Tom, and a luncheon of cheese was wrapped up with care for the little favorite of his hopeful family. In short, if anything was thrown to the dog, it was a bone so closely picked that it scarce afforded a pittance to keep life and soul together. "How exactly alike," said the dependent, "is this poor dog's case and mine! He is watching for a dinner from a master who cannot spare it; I for a place from a needy lord who wants, perhaps, are greater than my own, and whose relations are more clamorous than any of this beggar's brats. 'Tis misery to depend upon patrons whose circumstances make their charity necessary at home." The Camel. When men first saw the camel, they were so frightened at its vast size that they fled away. After a time, perceiving the meekness and gentleness of his temper, they summoned courage enough to approach him. Soon afterwards, observing that he was an animal altogether deficient in spirit, they assumed such boldness as to put a bridle in his mouth, and to set a child to drive him. Use serves to overcome dread. The Wolf in Disguise. A wolf, who by his frequent visits to a flock of sheep in his neighborhood began to be extremely well known to them, thought it expedient, for the more successful carrying on of his depredations, to appear in a new character. To this end he disguised himself in a shepherd's habit, and resting his forefeet upon a stick, which served him by way of crook, he softly made his approach toward the fold. It happened that the shepherd and his dog were both of them extended on the grass, fast asleep, so that he would certainly have succeeded in his project, if he had not imprudently attempted to imitate the shepherd's voice. The horrid noise awakened them both, and the wolf, encumbered with his disguise, and finding it impossible either to resist or to flee, yielded up his life an easy prey to the shepherd's dog. Hypocrites frequently lay themselves open to discovery by overacting their parts.